Hey guys, what is going on? MadSpace here. Welcome back to another Pokemon Unite video. And today we will once again be using Zeraora because there has been a huge update to Pokemon Unite. As you know, on September 22nd, the mobile version was released. So naturally, there was also a balance patch that was released along with the release of the mobile version of Pokemon Unite, which was pretty nice. There's a lot of like quality of life changes, interface changes, the screens, like the I don't even know what to call them, but there's a lot less lag like on the select screens, um, the character select screen, the home screen, all that stuff. It seems to be running a lot nicer, which is good because that was like one of my biggest complaints earlier. Just trying to scroll through anything just took forever. But it seems like a lot of that has been improved, which is nice. Some characters were nerfed, some characters were buffed, which is also nice. So we're going to talk about that today a little bit, but mostly in the case of Zeraora. And just let me pull this up right here because I literally just closed it. I don't know why. This is not the one. I wanted to pick up the one on Cerebi, but here we go. Okay, so Zeraora. Zeraora is a pretty good character. Oh, and by the way, I'll just say, this is just a random match. This is the first match that I'm playing since the update. I just, did something, unranked. I did hit Master rank last season. As you can see, we got a couple Masters players. The Lucario was in Ultra. The Cinderace was in veteran, but that doesn't really matter. This is unranked, so it's not that serious. But okay, so really quick, let's get into the buffs that Zeraora got. Zeraora is already a pretty good character in my opinion, so I mean it didn't really need to be nerfed. But to get the buffs it did is kind of nice. Um, I mean, it doesn't make him OP or anything, but let's just go over it right now. So, Slash was reduced. Got the amount of attacks reduced, which was weird. I don't know. I always thought that Slash did 3 attacks, and then I started playing Zeraora, and it still does 3 attacks. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm understanding that wrong. But yeah, it feels like that's the same to me. I don't know. Slash also got increased damage per hit, which is crazy. It already did pretty decent amount of damage, but they buffed that, so which is nice. So here are the interesting buffs. As you know, most people run Discharge and Volt Switch, but you can also run Spark and Discharge. Spark is pretty good as well. It's based on preference, really. But Spark, one of the buffs that got period between moves has been increased. So, that bar that goes down between the 3 times that you can use it, you can now time it for a longer period of time, which is nice. Increased amount of consecutive wild charge attacks while using Spark, which is nice as well, which, Spark and wild charge synergize nicely. It's just that, Discharge is a better move overall, so people usually use Discharge. But that's good synergy. And Wild Charge was also buffed. You got a cooldown decrease from 11 seconds to 9 seconds, which is nice, and reduced damage received when using the attack. So that's also pretty good. So buffs all around for Zeraora. No changes to Discharge, which I mean you would think that maybe Discharge would receive a slight nerf, like a damage nerf or something like that. But yeah, so these damage buffs are pretty nice for I think for Slash and stuff like that. And just in terms of being able to do more attacks with Wild Charge, that's more damage as well. There were also a couple of new items introduced. You have and the ones that kind of help Zeraora are like Weakness Policy and Razor Claw. I think you have Choice Specs also, which is cool. You got some nice additions there. But the Razor Claw and the what was the other one that I just said? Weakness Policy. Those are the ones that kind of increase your attack based off of different circumstances. And right here you'll see just one hit of the Wild Charge took out Charmeleon, and then it went straight to attacking the wild Pokemon. So what do I think about these buffs that Zeraora received? I think they're okay. does it make Spark and Wild Charge more viable than like Volt Switch and Discharge, or Spark and Discharge? I don't know. Um, Discharge, I'm pretty sure all you guys know, has incredible AOE damage. You can kind of just Volt Switch into the enemy, like even if there's a bunch of them. Like right, well, we'll talk about that for a second. In a second, but you can kind of Volt Switch into a couple of the opposing Pokemon, and then do some discharge and basic attack damage, and then kind of Volt Switch out. If you have support from like Eldegoss and Blissey, you could probably stay in there a little bit longer, even up until maybe the cooldown is reset, and again discharge, and then just do a bunch of damage. But Wild Charge is more of a move that targets a single Pokemon, even though it does incredible damage to that one Pokemon. So, when you match it up with Spark, the amount of damage that you can do with Spark, doing the basic attack in between the Sparks and stuff like that. It's incredible for 1v1s. Like, there's not many Mons that can probably beat Zeraora in the 1v1. Like, you'll see this. Look at this right here. Like, that's not like that's not fair. Even with the Spark and that combination there, it's so good. Zeraora is so good in the 1v1 with the Spark Wild Charge setup. But the type of game that Pokemon Unite is, man, I think you're just gonna want to stick with Discharge. Because even though you can win the 1v1s, and even in a 2v1, you can do enough damage with wild charges to maybe take out one mon and then start targeting the next one automatically. But look, you've seen the situation here. Um, even if when there's three or more, there's really just not much Zeraora can do, because you're not gonna have a guaranteed kill or anything like that. We have Charizard, who's not that frail. Blastoise, who has incredible defense and HP. So if I had Discharge, I would just throw a Discharge and maybe stay in the grass and let my opponents do damage, stuff like that. But it's not much in the grand scheme of things, because you want to do as much damage as you can, and Discharge is going to help your team overall, more overall than Wild Charge is, because of the way it targets the opposing Pokemon. So even though Zeraora was buffed in 1v1 or even 2v1 scenarios, it just doesn't. I feel like you still want to use Discharge and probably Volt Switch Discharge. I mean, you can use Spark. There's nothing wrong with Spark Discharge, to be honest. And another scenario here where like I'm in a 1v1 here, and I think if I had Discharge, I probably would have lost that encounter if I had Discharge, because I probably wouldn't have reached him. I mean, with Volt Switch, I could have kept up with him, but I don't think the damage would have been enough. Just the amount of raw damage that Wild Charge did just, help me win that scenario. I mean, that interaction. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think Discharge is still going to be better. I don't think Wild Charge is unviable or anything like that. I just think it's a lot worse, to be ordered. Like, look at this situation here where, like, I could have potentially taken out more than just Blastoise if I had Discharge. I probably could have taken out. I probably would still be alive and maybe helped to KO 3 of them. Like, look how, like, Cinderace had like no HP. Lucario had like no HP. I think if I had Discharge, we could have won that team fight there. Maybe score a little bit, and then probably would have had a little bit more experience against for the Zapdos fight and stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, this is just a random match I did. It's unranked. It's unranked, and it's the first one I did, so it's really not that serious. We lost. They got Zapdos, and they scored a good amount at the end. But you know, it was just one. This would have been I would have won that 1v1 against Charizard probably if the Cinderace didn't show. But that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't think I would have won that 2v1 anyway, even if I had Discharge. But I would have been better equipped with Discharge in order to help out with taking, you know, probably getting a couple KOs maybe. Maybe would have had a better chance at Zapdos. You know, the movement that you get from Volt Switch is a little bit better, in my opinion. So I don't know. I think overall Discharge is still better. Wild Charge, Spark Wild Charge, amazing in 1v1s. You know, the only characters that I think will give you problems 1v1 are probably Gengar if he hits a Sludge Bomb, which with the movement probably, you know, probably won't hit you. So only if Sludge Bomb Hex Gengar hits you with Sludge Bomb, then maybe, you know, that could be some problems. What else? You know, any defender probably, just because of the sheer amount of HP, and defenders have a lot of moves that cause hindrances, so that could be a little annoying. And that's probably it. You know, you probably have the advantage over, you know, any attacker because, you know, they're pretty frail, but I don't know. You know, you're not going to be in 1v1 scenarios all that often. That's the problem, and, you know, I couldn't do enough, a little bit too much damage for my Score Shield to help me there, so yeah, they won the game. That's you know, pretty much the Zapdos fight was the deciding factor there. So yeah, what do I think? I think Discharge is still better. Use Discharge. Wild Charge doesn't suck or anything like that, but use Discharge. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.